everyone, it's BellaDovah. Throughout this past year I've showcased over 400 new Sims 2 mods on my channel in my quarterly mod series. Thank you very much if you've been watching those videos, but I appreciate they've been long with what can be an overwhelming amount of mods. So I've now picked out my top 100-ish and collated them into one post on my website, which will be linked in the description and pinned comment so you can easily find all the best mods of the year in one convenient place. In this video, I'm going to show you roughly half of those, focusing on the more visually engaging. So that's not to say these are the best of the 100, there's lots on the list that will solve annoyances that everyone will have and therefore everyone should get, but these are the ones that have the most to show visually. These are in no particular order other than by the order they've been shown in the quarterly videos. The web posts will be organised by category and alphabetically within the categories so you can easily find what you're looking for. Just bear in mind though that these are my personal favourites, but that might look different to yours, so check out my previous videos and posts if you haven't already so you don't miss any gems. And with that out of the way, let's get started. Firstly, ever since the first video of 2025, I've been using Reshade and a new preset for it called Subtle Sass in every video, so I thought that was worth mentioning. It's technically a G-Shade preset, but it works exactly the same with Reshade, so I highly recommend using Reshade over G-Shade because there has been some scandals around G-Shade and therefore it can't be trusted in my opinion. I hadn't used Reshade in a long time, but I really like this preset because, as the name suggests, it is so subtle. It just makes the colours and lighting pop more without having any strong visual effects that aren't practical for gameplay or distort the UI. However, even with this light preset, I do fear there may be a performance or stability impact because, as we saw in my Veronaville HUD with heavy CC last time, I was suffering with pink soup and crashing there. So while it's been great for these videos with my small test downloads folders, I'll have to see if I can actually keep it for real gameplay once I eventually rebuild my downloads folder. But yeah, I really like it, so if you'd like a light Reshade preset to try that is suitable for gameplay, then give it a try. I've also got my edit of iCAD's clouds here, which I may pass by more slowly. I'm just using this as a cheeky segue really to make you aware that I have shared some mods this year. We'll actually edit some patches of other mods this time. I've re-released the period mod with some updates and tweaks. I've tweaked and patched the parenthood and after school and at prom mods, as well as the driving license mod, so just make sure you check those out on my website because I'll not be covering those any further in this video. So I actually deliberated whether to include this next mod here because I'm not sure I'd actually want it for myself, at least in its current state, because I don't fully like the way it works. However, it's so beautiful and impressive that I just had to cover it. That is the Simple Laundry mod by Lamare. This is a full laundry system in which dirty clothes are made, which your Sims will need to wash, adding some extra realism and challenge to everyday life. This is an alternative to the other major laundry mod, Loads of Laundry by Sun and Moon. Which mod you prefer will be up to you, there's positive and negatives of both. As the name suggests, this mod is simpler than the other one, as laundry will generally be created less often and there's also less to manage, and it's also just sort of less detailed and specific and a bit more imaginary. There's no real count of laundry, it's not a physical thing, it can be poofed in and out of thin air, and it's less punishing to ignore it, so it's a more optional part of gameplay. Many people may prefer this, but for me it is a bit too simple and illogical, especially since in this mod sloppy Sims are the one that make the most washing, whereas I'd think neat Sims would change their clothes more often. With Sun and Moon's, laundry is created based on hygiene rather than personality, which personally I prefer. However, I don't mean to sound critical because I would say I prefer pretty much everything else about this mod. It has stunning object models, sounds, animations and little details. The washing appliances are much easier, pleasant and visually appealing to work with in this one. The laundry visually moves inside the machine when it's on. The running sound is subtle and realistic and is timed perfectly with the cycle, and it's obvious when the run is finished. If I were to design a perfect laundry mod, the Simple Laundry mod would definitely be at the core of it, but I would take lots of inspiration from the logic of Sun and Moons to make it a bit more accurate, realistic and complex, as well as adding some trait support. Perhaps I'll take a stab at it one day, but I have no plans anytime soon, so feel free to bait me to it. Gummy and Teodic have recently made an add-on which aims to add a little bit more realism and complexity to the way washed clothes work, so I'm excited to take a look at that next time. But even with that, for me, I think the way dirty washing is created still needs some attention, but it has so much potential. Next we have a simple little traits mod by Heathen Simmer that simply allows Sims with either the snob, diva, mean-spirited or evil trait to brag to other Sims regardless of relationship level. In vanilla and for Sims without those traits, the option to brag is no longer available once a relationship with the other Sim is high, but it makes sense that the Sims with these traits could still brag even to those they are very close with. Now for a lovely default replacement for the Dirt, Clod and Park Bark terrain paints by Sorotan. I just love how much better and higher quality these look while still being so true to the original Maxis design. I've struggled in the past to find terrain paint defaults that don't change the original intended look too much, so these ones are fantastic. A new functional object now, and that is the Fancy Feet cake tree inspired by The Sims 1 by Nyame. You can purchase this huge fake cake from the party section and use it to hire an entertainer who will dance for your Sims, who can then cheer or interact with the entertainer like any other Sim. Another functional object I've loved is the shot glass holder by Jackie93 Sims. This can also be purchased from the party section and it can be used to serve 6 drinks for 30 simoleons each time. Drinking them increases fun and decreases bladder. They will spoil after some time, but they can be cleaned and refilled again. And Jackie has also recently made a tray of Halloween cocktails which function in the same way but look fantastic and are perfect for spooky parties. Another one of my favourite default replacements and therefore graphical improvements has been Vegan Cactus's Taxi Defaults version 2. This is based on their first Taxi Defaults, which subtly improved the textures while keeping it almost identical to the original Maxis look. The V2 version though also improves the glass, making it much clearer and more see-through. They've also improved the textures on the roof sign, making them higher quality and fixing that bent knife. It also applies to the Bon Voyage taxis, changing their colour slightly as well as improving the image on the roof sign, making each one specific to the destination rather than a generic airplane. A new thing I also really like is this lottery kiosk by Sissy Sims. This can be placed on community lots for Sims to purchase lottery tickets with, just like the online system in Monique's Hack Computer, but it doesn't require it and you can have both. I think this really livens up community lots and looks great, and it's just a fun little thing you Sims can do to spend a bit of money and potentially win more. This set of new toys by Jinx Sims give toddlers new things to do, which I always love. Some of them are essentially just CC doll houses, but others are unique and provide new ways for toddlers to build skills and hobby enthusiasm to make well-rounded and unique individuals. I especially like the abacus, which builds logic skill, and the screw toy, which builds mechanical. Another great functional object by Jackie93 Sims is the S&S Deluxe Kettle, which functions a bit like the Maxis coffee makers, but this can instead be used to make a selection of 10 different herbal teas, which look fantastic. The teas will increase comfort and energy and decrease bladder, except for chamomile, which will actually decrease energy instead, so you can send your wide awake Sims back to bed in the middle of the night. As a herbal tea lover myself, this object is right on my alley and I can really see myself making regular use of this in my Sims households. Next, we've got a fairly buried mod as it's inside Hypersailin's User Beware Work in Progress folder. There's a few cool mods in here, but the one I particularly like and find very useful is the Call All Over mod. This has a new self-interaction Sims can use to call all other Sims on the lot over to their location, which can be super handy. From testing, this worked flawlessly, so don't be afraid to grab this super useful little mod. The Better Argue Anims mod by EpiSims improves the animations Sims perform while arguing, so they actually look like they are arguing, displeased with each other, rather than having a friendly, agreeable conversation. This next mod by Lamare adds some variety to the elder life stage, giving them chances to get sick, die early, or even live longer than usual. These have an element of randomness, but there's also lots of tunable logic to determine the likelihood. For example, sickness, bad mood, low aspiration, having no best friends, being furious, or having a recent bad memories are factors that can increase the chance of dying early, whereas fitness, hobby enthusiasm, lifelong happiness, best friends, good mood, and high aspiration are factors that can increase the chance of the lifespan being extended. This adds some great variety and an element of surprise, as well as punishment and reward based on how their lives have been lived. For some more variety, the School Project by Medusa gives children and teenagers a chance to sometimes bring a Sims 4 style project to do rather than their usual homework. Kids can bring the castle, solar system or volcano, whereas teens can bring the bridge, electricity or rocket. The projects take a bit longer to finish than normal homework but are more rewarding since Sims can gain some skills, hobby enthusiasm and badges. For example, the rocket gains logic skill, toy making badge and science enthusiasm, and the bridge gains the mechanical skill and the tinkering enthusiasm. Sims have a chance of making the project of either poor, good or excellent quality depending on their relevant skills and badges progress they already have, whether they are getting help as well as some trait support. For example, technophobes will get a penalty when working on the electricity and rocket project, whereas artistic and avant-garde Sims will get a bonus when working on the castle and more. If you download the original conversions of the completed project, your Sims will physically get the project they make in their inventory, which you can then display. Unfortunately, the quality of the produced project doesn't actually impact how much grade improvement your Sims get, which I think is a bit of a shame. I'd really like it if it did, but otherwise this mod is fantastic and adds some much needed variety and skill building to your children's and teens' lives. Now, another default replacement by Vegan Cactus I really liked is their various pet defaults. I especially like their default replacement of the pet food, making it look like actual kibble rather than cornflakes. I also really like how they've replaced the bone that Sims can dig up when digging, so now it actually looks like a real bone instead of the chew toy. You can optionally make this bone buyable in buy mode for your pets too. There's quite a few defaults in this post, including some edits of CC objects. I'm not personally a fan of the expensive pet bed, but you can just pick and choose which ones you like. Another one of my favourite traits mods by Heathen Simmer is the Computer Whizzes Can Hack mod. So now Sims with the Computer Whiz trait can hack grades on the computer in university, rather than this being exclusive to the Secret Society members only. Lamare is back with adding fun in the mundane and added complexity and realism with their supplies mod. This is a set of what is essentially would have been decorative CC items but made functional. So there's things like toilet roll, detergents, washing up liquid, cleaning spray, shampoo, soap, bubble bath, toothpaste, diapers, acne cream, supply cabinets, storage boxes and much more. Many of you may have already had CC pieces like this you'd use to decorate your bathrooms and kitchens to make them more realistic, but this gives them an actual purpose. Now, every time Sims clean something or bathe, they subtract points from a nearby product if there are any, and once an item is used up, it usually looks empty or disappears and gives you a notification. Some items can be refilled for money or from other objects, and while most interactions are still available without supplies, having them and not having them has advantages and penalties. So interactions such as cleaning and bathing take longer without products present but will be faster with them. Sims won't be able to get fully clean by showering or bathing without a product available, and bubble baths won't actually have any visible bubbles without the necessary supplies. Sims won't be able to apply acne cream, wash their face or brush their teeth without supplies, and if dishwashers or washing machines are used without detergent, they will break sooner. Sitting on the toilet without toilet paper has a slightly bigger impact on hygiene. I think this could be more personally though. I'd love to see penalties for not having items taken further, as well as more options for kitchen supplies, such as more visually appealing storing caddies, more options for the dishwasher and an all-in-one kitchen style cabinet, or even some sort of marker to make the existing counts contain supplies in storage. But I can definitely see myself using this mod going forward. Next we have a new custom memories which gets applied automatically, one of my favourite kind of mods. There is another pack of memories by Notkey like this one in the list, so make sure you check those out too. But I really like this one called I Live, I Die, I Live Again, because it can really fill a small missing piece in your Sim's memories. This adds a new memory for when a Sim was deceased, gets resurrected. So now when you continue their life, you can see which memories were before they died and which ones were after they're resurrected. Another trait spied by Heathen Simmer now, and this time it's mainly for the angler trait. With this, Sims with the angler trait autonomously fish on community lots. It also includes FY success edits, so Sims with the hates outdoor trait will have less success, loves outdoor will have more, and anglers will have the most success, meaning they will catch a fish sooner. Furthermore, anglers will gain fun the whole time while fishing instead of only when they're catching something. You can also optionally increase the advertising for autonomous fishing so that you're more likely to see unplayables fishing in the background, sort of fishing and nature lots for a bit more realism. The slap interaction variety mod changes the slap animation Sims perform depending on their personality. These animations already existed in the game but weren't used properly. Now, for example, Sims who are nice and shy will perform the shy slap animation, nice and neutral Sims may perform just one single slap, and mean Sims will be the only ones doing multiple slaps. Also, instead of the Sim who do slap back being the ones that walk off and cry and Sims who don't retaliate just standing angrily, this will be the other way around now. So Sims who don't slap back will be the ones who walk away and cry, whereas ones that do will then stand angrily afterwards. This makes much more sense, so things are much more logical and varied. The Better Car Restoration mod by Big Woe significantly improves many things about working on the fixer-upper car. Motive impacts have been made far more reasonable, so Sims will no longer need to go straight to bed after working on it for a couple of hours. It drains comfort, hygiene and energy comparable to a workout and is now more taxing on comfort and hygiene than on energy. The more serious the Sim is, the more fun they will have while working on it and the faster they will gain skills, and it will be a faster way for everyone to gain a skill than reading. The more skilled the Sim is in the relevant task, the faster they will be at completing it, but restoring the car will take longer overall now. You can now actually see the progress in percentage complete when clicking on the car, like you can when writing a term paper, for example. When two people are working on the car at the same time, they will actually gain a short-term relationship and their social need, and the Rev engine interaction is no longer completely useless, as it will now gain a bit of fun and tinkering, and Sims will no longer quit prematurely upon engine failure when working on the engine. So this makes the whole experience a lot less painful and a lot more realistic and useful. In case it wasn't already obvious that Lamare is one of my favourite modders, we have another one of theirs. This is the Ask What's Your Job expanded, and it simply puts more information into the dialogue pop-up when a Sim is asked about their job. It now also reveals if the Sim has an NPC job, is retired, a student, a business owner or an employee. Your convenience stores are going to be looking great and so much more fun to play with the lottery kiosk we looked at earlier and this next mod, which is an umbrella kiosk. This is for the immersive rain mod and the color traits mod. It adds a little umbrella basket you can place on community lots from which your Sims can purchase rain shields and sun shields. Those are for vampires. When a Sim has a rain shield in their inventory, when they are outside in the rain, they will actually hold it in the hand above the head and it will be in their favourite colour. Another functional object I can see myself getting use out of is the buffet platters that were first added in the Sims 4 luxury party conversion and also made in an additional Maxis Match style. You can purchase these from the party section and interact with them to serve a group meal of any food of your choosing for a price. So it's like the buffet tables but far more flexible because it can be placed anywhere, including the new rotunda tables they come with, and you aren't limited to only salad, turkey and gelatin. I'm really appreciative of this next mod because the idea was taken from my wish list. Paolo has created a pop-up that appears when university students return from class. Gone are the days of losing loads of study time because she didn't realise the students had returned and were chatting on the edge of the lot, especially in a big busy dorm. Time will also return to normal speed when they return. The message will have varying fun text and it will disappear on its own after a few seconds, so this is super handy. Next we have an update of an old mod I didn't even know existed. Bigfoot has revamped Sim Wardrobe's Vocation trainer. This is a custom podium Sims can use to teach other Sims skills and badges, though the original was never updated to include the new badges from seasons and free time, so this revamp includes them. It also has many more improvements such as short-term relationship game between students and the teacher and amongst the class. It also adjusts badge and skill gain rates. They are enhanced by the teacher's logic and charisma. Skill gain rate also depends on the series personality, and badge gain rate also depends on the associated skill. There's also a lot more great little improvements on logic checks. I can really see myself using this for functional schools and active university lectures. Next we have a tool rather than a mod technically, one of two in this video. This is the Big Awful Texture Locator, and it can be used to help you identify CC with very large textures, and with a bit of further research you can find which ones you might want to reduce yourself or even just delete the CC entirely. Large textures can make the dreaded pink soup happen more often, so it's great to avoid them where possible. You can search for textures above specified dimensions or memory size and more. As an example, I love Close by YSim, but this tool helped me to realise that when I come to rebuilding my downloads folder, I should probably look into reducing their max texture sizes as they tend to be quite big. There's many more, but this is just one example. Of course, some textures sort of need to be big, like the skylines and skyboxes, as they are huge, as well as some very large objects, but I'm sure this could help you find some clothes or hair and things that could do with being cut down a bit, so this is very helpful for optimizing your game. Another tiny default replacement that helps bring modern graphics to The Sims 2 is P-Forest Star Texture Default. This simply improves the quality of the spinning stars that appear above Sims' heads after they've been slapped. We also have another tiny default replacement for the stack of clothes Sims either carry to the till when purchasing new ones or having their inventory after sewing a new outfit. This improves the look of it, and it will appear in the Sims' favourite colour, with the colour traits mod otherwise be white. Now for the first of several mods by Tea Addict in this list, and that is the Pay to Play mod. This adds a new toggle to many objects, both Maxis and custom ones, which turns on or off the pay to play feature. When it is on, it will cost the Sims visiting that community lot or own business to use that item. For example, a pub might charge to use the pool table. This is a great way to make own businesses more profitable and to make your gameplay a bit more challenging by making trips out more costly. Another amazing mod by Tea Addict, well technically two mods actually, can be considered a replacement for the famous Community Time project. Community Time has been considered an essential amongst the Sims community for many years, as it holds Sims off the home lot upon returning from a community lot for the length of time they were there, so they don't live the same hours of the day twice over. However, there's two major limitations with this. It makes playing active careers difficult, so where you send your Sims to a community lot to play out their workday, then go to work as usual when they return, and also that it prevents anyone else in the household from going to a community lot during the time someone else is away. These mods by Tea Addict offer an alternative approach without these limitations, one for walking and one for the car. I actually showed the car one as the version inside the vehicle maintenance mod, which unfortunately didn't make this list because it's a bit too buggy and finished at the moment, but it definitely deserves an honourable mention because with an update I could definitely see it being a favourite next year. Anyway, T-Addict has a standalone version of the car part too, which is unfortunately not compatible with the driving license mod, unlike the vehicle maintenance mod, which attempts compatibility, so it would be great to see it with T's at some point soon too. But yeah, with these mods by T-Addict, at any point, particularly when they return from a community lot, you can now manually send your Sims off the lot, either with the self interaction or with the car, to simulate the time when they were away, and also choose to freeze their motives. With the walk-in one, you can choose how many hours they will be gone for, or otherwise the interaction will be indefinite until you cancel it. This approach means you can simply choose not to have your Sims held off the lot for the time they're away in scenarios where you might have been playing out an active career or a school day or whatever. And the best thing about it is also that it does not stop other members of the household from going to a community lot during the time Sims are held off the lot with this approach, meaning you can have multiple simultaneous outings. Next, we have a super handy mod by Len9 called Replanting Flowers. Len has also made a huge pack of about 90 fixes, which are also on my list, so I highly recommend grabbing the majority of those too. But anyway, with this mod, when flowers die, instead of having to throw them away and then enter build mode to buy new flowers, this adds a new interaction for replanting. So Sims will buy new one in the dead one's place immediately after throwing them away, so there's no need to find them in build mode anymore. Now for another default replacement, this time for the servos. I feel like you're either going to love this or hate it, so let me know what you think. To be honest, I think this does make them look quite creepy, but I am here for it. Servos do function pretty much exactly the same as Sims, so this default makes them look much more like regular Sims, but with metallic skin, hair and eyes, and a futuristic, cleaner outfit. No longer will they be one-eyed cartoon robots, but like actual electronic Sims. In a similar vein, I've also picked out this default replacement for the Hula zombies, and I'd say this is an essential for me now. I've always hated how the Hula zombies that come with the Green Reaper to send off a Sim dying of old age with good aspiration, they just look like regular Sims, or BellaDovah clones more like. This default makes them look like actual zombies with rotting blue skin and black eyes. Next, we have a bug fix by Healing Simmer, as well as some optional additional traits functionality, which I love. When Bigfoot is part of the active household and has a job, he is supposed to sometimes bring items home that he has stolen from work, but he does every single time because of a bug. This mod fixes the chances so it will be 30% instead of 100% of the time, and with the traits part, kleptomaniacs will also have this same chance to steal something from work too. Now we have a new special OMSP by Episims called the TubShower Enabler. With this you can place a shower. It's best used with one of those communal style ones with no surround, and then place it on top of a bathtub. And when this is used, both the shower and bath will be fully functional, so you can DIY and mix and match your own tub shower combos. Speaking of combos, I also love Lamare's Transformer cribs. These are like regular cribs but with a new interaction that can be used to transform them into toddler beds. These toddler beds won't have buggy issues like some of the CC ones out there either. So now you can just buy one item and adapt it into a bed when your baby grows up to a toddler, or what's probably more sensible and realistic is to wait until they have learned to walk and turn it into a bed at that point. Then when they grow out of it, you can then turn it back into a crib ready for the next baby. Next, something for pets, and that is the natural pet relief patches. These are several free litter boxes that look like natural things like flowers, leaves and hay, and can be used outdoors to mark a spot for both cats and dogs to relieve their bladder. They will never get dirty, so you won't need to clean them either. This is great if you don't have space for a litter box inside, see the cat as the outdoorsy type, or have a kitty in a medieval hood, or just want to stop your dogs from peeing in the middle of the road. It makes a lot of sense because cats and dogs do roam around the whole lot, so it seems silly that the only option for cats is an indoor litter box. Now for even more OMSPs, and that is this set of Rotator OMSPs by Gummy and Epi. You can use these to subtly rotate objects and wall hangings at gentle angles, making things look a lot more natural and not so perfectly placed. Floor objects can be rotated by 5 to 40 degrees, with these in 5-degree increments, both clockwise and counterclockwise. Wall objects can be tilted from 1 to 9 degrees in increments of 1, so it's great for slightly crooked posters. These can really take your interior design to the next level and create some really realistic environments. The other tool on this list is the Backup Launcher. I've used this tool for quite a while now. It disappeared from Mod The Sims for a little bit when the Legacy Collection came out, as to not confuse new players or put pressure on the creator to update it, but now it's back and better than ever. It works with any version of the game and has a new shiny intuitive UI to adjust your settings. You can also choose where to keep your backups and where to install the tool, rather than it having to be in your game folders as it was before. So this tool is used to make automatic backups of your neighborhood saves, which is the best defense against corruption, and also to just give you an option to roll back if something goes wrong or you get an unwanted turn of events. You can choose how often backups will be made upon launch and how many will be stored. It's simply a new launcher to use to open your game, which will make backups if and when necessary. But if you were previously using the RPC launcher like me, then fear not, because this tool also has support for custom launchers. So after it's done with its backup process, it will then automatically launch RPC if you configure it to do so. There's literally no downside to using this tool unless you have absolutely no storage space, so grab yourself this peace of mind now. Now we have these sets of seasonal holiday decorations and Christmas trees. These are clones of many Maxis seasonal decorations, but these will automatically change form depending on the season. So one object will be a fruit bowl in spring and summer, automatically transform into a cornucopia in fall, and become a gingerbread house in winter. So you can be on theme for every season without having to think about it or faff about in buy mode swapping things in and out. These are especially handy for your community lot, so they will be dynamically decorated, such as having Christmas trees in winter but plants for the rest of the year, without ever having to think about it or going to any trouble again. So handy and so awesome. Next we have functional spray painting by Jackie93 Sims. These are two objects that look like a little box of spray paints, one for the floor and one for the wall, and they mark the spot for Sims to interact with to create street art. They will gain creativity skill while painting, but remember you'd need a mod to enable skill building on community lots, and they will create murals that can only be scrapped, not sold. I really love to see the addition of arts and crafts hobby enthusiasm gain, perhaps some trait support too, but this is really cool nonetheless, and a great thing for your rebellious teenagers to get up to. Now we have a little animation default replacement by P-Forest, which simply fixes the street dancer's neck. No longer will their neck completely disappear into their torso like a turtle and creep you out. Next, it's time to get those lazy NPC bartenders doing more work with the Bartenders Cleaning Duties mod. Bartenders will no longer just idly stand by the bar all day long, they will be far more useful. Bartenders will clean up their surrounding area, like cleaning dirty plates and coffee cups in a sink or dishwasher, bin things like plastic cake cups or other trash, clean dirty sinks and mop up puddles. They can also repair broken dishwasher sinks and trash compactors, and this shouldn't come at much detriment to customers wanting a drink either, because they will return to the bar between tasks and only start doing other tasks if they have been idle for about 10 minutes already. Next, we have a set of mods for Open for Business by Addict. The restaurant lock controller has useful interactions for restaurant lots, in particular to be able to toggle eat or go home to kick sims out if they're not hungry. The Better Food Business mod reduces the relationship requirement for getting away with underpaying staff in food businesses. It also makes customers arrive on the lot hungry, you get more sims appearing at your restaurant per business rank, and it creates a lunch and dinner rush for non-owned restaurants and cafes for that bit more realism. The Close Kitchen mod allows you to close the kitchen, so sims will stop going to the podium without actually having to close the business. This adds a new interaction to the podium to close the kitchen, but with the restaurant lock controller too, you can set a time which the kitchen will close automatically. The Better Staff Breaks mod adds a new staff room controller object, which when placed in a designated staff room will scan sims on the lot for anyone on a break, call them every 10 minutes to come here, and if they aren't already in the staff room, then push them to do something useful, helping them tend to their bladder, hunger and energy needs. The Employee Warn Before Quitting mod will give you a warning dialogue that an employee is underpaid and will quit before they actually do, giving you a chance to actually rectify the situation and keep them around. And lastly, the Showering on Business slots enables customers to take a shower at an open business, which is really helpful for gyms, so they will use showers instead of leaving due to low hygiene. Squinch had a mod for this, but it was never updated or Apartment Life, and this mod also has compatibility patches for other shower related mods too. Another useful Open for Business related mod by Addict is the Actual Cafes mod, which introduces a new way of playing own cafes. So, with the regular Decra Chill fridges and mocking plates of food for sale, customers can still buy food to take home as usual. However, this adds clones of them, which are instead used by customers to purchase plates of food placed inside them to eat at the lot, rather than taking them home. You can place group meals in them and a sim will take a single serving. This prevents the need for a full restaurant system with a host, server and chef, and makes customers able to serve themselves. They won't even use the cashier, they'll just buy the plate of food directly from the fridge and sit at a table on the lot to eat it. This comes with a cafe lock controller similar to the restaurant one, but with this it will mark the lot as a cafe and enable the pay to eat system. Without this, sims will just eat for free. It also has a buy something or go home toggle, which will force sims to leave the lot if they're not going to buy something either to eat or take home. So Addict has seriously elevated our own businesses this year. This one has been updated quite a bit since I last looked at it with a brand new 2.0 version, so I'll look forward to checking that out next time. Yet another gem by Addict is the Toddlers Nap in Strollers mod. These are two strollers, prams, buggies, whatever you call them, for toddlers from The Sims 3 that were converted previously, but Addict had added new functionality. Toddlers can now nap in them, so toddlers have somewhere to happily sit close by to the family when outside, and when they get tired they will simply peacefully fall asleep in them. If you use the mod which enables build a my mode on the community lots as well as the inventory, and also the mod that allows toddlers to come to community lots, you can bring a pram with you in their inventory, pull it out of the community lot, and toddlers will have somewhere to sit and sleep on the outing. Another mod for youngsters, and another one taken from my wish list, is the Reduced Energy Gain from Cribs mod by Ashton LC3. I've always hated how toddlers only need about 3 hours of sleep, but found the toddler sleep through the night mod a little bit too cheaty. This is a real solution which instead reduces the rate at which cribs gain the energy need while sleeping. For comparison, the cheap crib originally took about 3.5 hours to fully fill the energy bar, but with this mod it takes 7.5 hours, so you'll no longer need to have your sims wake up at 2 AM to let the toddler out of the crib. Another little traits mod I've liked is F-Way's Abundance mod. This mod simply makes it so sims with the Gatherer and Green Thumb traits will harvest slightly more produce from a plant than sims without either of those traits. There's a lot more little traits mods like this on my list, so make sure you check them out. The last mod of Addict's 2025 hot streak is our update of the Self from Inventory mod, which is improved in a much more user-friendly way. In the original, you'd get the fridge menu, UI to select how much to charge for the item, so this would involve checking how much the item is worth first and manually calculating how much markup you'd want to add, if any. This edit removes the fiddly fridge menu entirely, and now the value of the traded items will be automatically calculated. Then you will get a pop-up dialog asking you how much you want to adjust the price by. You can give it at a discount, at its raw value, or at a markup. You can continuously adjust the percentage different in increments of 10% until you confirm, and this makes the mod far easier to use. Next we have another older mod that has been rejuvenated, this time the functional microscope improved by Heathen Simmer. This update includes science, hobby enthusiasm gain and trait support. Sims with high science enthusiasm or whose one true hobby is science may use a microscope autonomously, and the interactions text will say study specimens instead of the usual look through. As well as this, children can now use it, although the animations aren't great, and Sims with the genius trait will learn the logic skill faster from it. The last default replacement is another one by Vegan Cactus, this time for fireflies. The fireflies are now a warmer yellow colour with a brighter glow, and you can also choose to have the lid of the jar be brown instead of red if you prefer, but the flies will look much better overall. Next we have two cool functional objects by TVK Sims. The first is the Smart Photo Frames collection, which are functional electronic photo frames. They start out blank, but you can interact with them to either use a picture from your paintings folder or to take a snap to display in it. This is a great and easy way to have family portraits in your Sims houses. I also really like their functional fans. You can place these fans and turn them on to cool Sims down in the same room. You can also interact with them to cool down quicker and get a small comfort boost too. This is a great way to complement the Maxis radiators and manage the hot weather, especially with Simulanity's temperature mod. And lastly, we have 11 new custom face sliders. These give you additional ability to adjust Sims faces and make really unique looking Sims. These are cheekbone width, cheekbone length, jawline squareness, upper lip area width, nose fall rotation, and there's two different ones for that, nose vertical length, nose tip length, nose bridge shape, there's also two different ones for that too, and broken nose. And that's all the mods I'm going to show you in this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe if you did. Also remember to check out my list linked in the description and pinned comment to see what else I picked out and for the links to all the mods shown here. I'm looking forward to playing with the vast majority of these in my game next time. Let me know which ones you're going to be downloading. I'll be back again soon to take a look at some brand new mods that have released in 2026. I'm not sticking to the quarterly schedule anymore, nor will I be trying to cover every single mod I find in upcoming videos. I'll just be showing you the ones that really catch my eye as and when I feel like it and I have the right amount to show. I might use this as an opportunity to take a bit of a break, but hopefully once I get settled into this new format, then it might even mean that I can upload more often, since it won't take so much time and energy to make each video. I'm considering still writing all of my finds on my post though, so you can be sure you won't miss anything. But that's all for now guys. If you'd like to support me, you can do so by leaving a super thanks, becoming a Patreon, buying me a coffee, or even simply remembering to use my affiliate link when shopping for games and DLC unloaded. Join my Discord to stay in touch, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!